'Twas down by the glen side I met an old woman, a plucking young nettles. She ne'er saw me coming, and I listened a while to the song she was humming. Glory, oh, glory, oh, to the bold Fenian man. 'Twas 50 long years since I saw the moon beaming on brave manly forms. In their eyes was hope gleaming. Sure, I'll see them again in all my sad dreaming. Glory, oh, glory, oh, man. When I was a young girl, there marching and drilling, awoke in the glenside, sounds awesome and thrilling. They loved dear old Ireland, and to die they were willing. Glory, oh, glory, oh, to the bold Fenian man. Some died on the hillsides, and some died with a stranger. And wise men have taught us that their cause was a failure, but they fought for old Ireland, and they never feared danger. Glory, oh, glory, oh, to the bold Fenian man. Though I passed on my way, Gods be praised that I met her. Be it life long or short, sure I'll never forget her. We may have brave men, but we'll never have better. Glory, oh, glory, oh, to the bold Fenian man. Glory, oh, glory, oh, to the bold Fenian man. So, I wanted to jump into one that feels like an October song, even though it's not technically an October song. It's called The Haunted Hunter. I did this one several months ago, but now it's feeling like the right season, at least for people in more northern climates. So I got this from the singing of Ray Frank. It's a very old song out of New Brunswick. Speed on, brave comrades, our camp lies far away. We must cross the frozen valley before the break of day. How I became snow blighted, I'll tell you as I go. By the blight of the haunted hunter who stalks the midnight snow. Through the cold December heavens came the pale moon and the stars. The yellow sun was sinking fast behind the purple bars, and the snow it lay adrifted upon the ridges clear. For miles and miles between me and the camp for which I steered. Said I, the dark is coming, and far the camp must be. But my heart it would be lighter if I had but company. So I sang and I shouted, keeping measure as I sped, with the sharp twang of my snowshoes as they sprang beneath my tread. There was darkness on the hillside and in the solemn wood. No sign of life nor motion to break the solitude, but the skating of the redwing in the valley down below, and the groaning of the moose behind the hillsides cold with snow. Not far along my journey had I gone along my way, when a dusky figure approached me in a capuchon of grey, bending on his snowshoes with a long and lanky stride. I hailed the dusky stranger, and we travelled side by side. No token of communion gave he by word or look, till a fear chill fell upon me at the crossing of a brook. For I saw in the sickly moonlight, as I followed bending low, that the walking of that stranger left no footprints in the snow. There a fear chill fell upon me, like a shadow round me posted, and I fell into a snowbank as the haunted hunter laughed. And there the others found me, just at the break of day, with my dark hair white and blanched as the snow on which I lay. They spoke not as they raised me, for they knew that in the night I had seen the haunted hunter, and withered in his plight. How I became snow blighted, I'll tell you as I go, by the blight of the haunted hunter who stalks the midnight snow. Yeah. The sheep is in the meadows, the kye in the byre. Now thou lying in thy bed, bonny at morn, canny at night, bonny at morn. Thou so long in thy bed, bonny at morn. The bird is in the nest, the trout is in the burn. Now hinders thy mother in many a turn. Canny at night, bonny at morn. Thou hour in long thy bed, bonny at morn. We're all laid idle we keep in the bairn. The lad winna work, and the lass will not learn. Canny at night, bonny at morn. Thou's hour lying in thy bed, bonny at morn. The sheep are in the meadows, the kye is in the corn. Now thou art lying in thy bed, bonny at morn. Canny at night, bonny at morn. Thou were lying in thy bed, bonny at morn. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you know of someone who would like to keep abreast of my future YouTube live things, then let me know, let them know this is here. I also have a Patreon. I also have a tip jar. Message me for the tip jar, or if someone else wants to type it in the chat, that's fine. Yeah, giving it a shot, trying out a whole new thing. So I'll tell you a story that happened to me one day as I went out to Yell by the sea. The sun it was bright and the day it was warm. Says I, a quiet pint wouldn't do me no harm. Well, I went to the barman, I says, give me a stout. Says the barman, I'm sorry, the beer is sold out. Try whiskey or vodka, 10 years in the wood. Says I, I'll try cider, I've heard that it's good. Oh, never, oh, never, oh, never again, if I live to 100 or 110. Well, I fell to the floor and I couldn't get up after drinking a pint of that Johnny Jump Up. After lowering the third, I headed straight for the yard where I bumped into Brophy, the big civic guard. He says, come here to me, boy, don't you know you're in the law? Well, I upped my fist and I shot to his jaw. He fell to the ground and his knees crumpled up. And it wasn't I hit him, 'twas Johnny Jump Up. And the next thing I met down in Yule by the sea was a cripple on crutches, and he says this to me. Oh, never, oh, never, oh, never again, if I lived to and I couldn't get up after drinking a pint of the Johnny Jump Up. I'm afraid of my life, I'll be hit by a car. Would you help me across to the railwayman's bar? And after 3 pints of the cider so sweet, he threw down his own crutches and he danced on his feet. Well, he fell to the ground and his knees crumpled up, but it wasn't I he'd hit him, 'twas Johnny Jump Up. And the next thing I met down in Yule by the sea was a brophy big man on his jaw to thin lee. Oh, never, oh, never, oh, never again, if I live to 100 or 110. Well, I fell to the floor and I couldn't get up after drinking a pint of the Johnny Jump Up. Now I went to the Lee Road and a friend for to see. They call it the Madhouse in Cork by the Lee. But when I got there, well, the truth they do tell, they had up the poor bugger locked up in a cell. So the guard dressed in him says these words, if you can. Around the rugged rocks, the rugged rascal ran. Tell them I am not crazy, tell them I am not mad. It was only 6 pints of the cider I had. Oh, never, oh, never, oh, never again, if I live to 100 or 110. Well, I fell to the floor and I couldn't get up after drinking a pint of the Johnny Jump Up. Now a man died in the Union by the name of McNabb. They washed him and laid him right out in a slab. And after the coroner his measurements took, well, his wife took him home to a bloody fine wake. 'Twas about 12 o'clock and the beer it was high. Well, the corpse he sat up and he says with a sigh, I can't get to heaven, they won't let me up till I bring them a pint of the Johnny Jump Up. Oh, never, oh, never, oh, never again, if I live to 100 or 110. Well, I fell to the floor and I couldn't get up after drinking a pint of the Johnny Jump Up. I walked down the hall where the woods used to stand. Concrete at my feet, brick walls at every hand, and over my head, steel girders so strong. Where I first felt the spell of the wood thrush's song. And now the wood thrush has vanished, seeking the place that's not felt the crush of man's embrace. The steep woods are gone now, and oh, how I long to again feel the spell of the wood thrush's song. And over my head just a few years ago, the poplar leaves shivered when the breezes did blow. And now the deep hum of engines drowns the soft, sighing sound of the wind in the leaves of the few trees nearby. And then the wood thrush has vanished, seeking the place that's not felt the crush of man's embrace. The steep woods are gone now, and oh, how I long to again feel the spell of the wood thrush's song. Man is the inventor, the builder, the sage, the writer and seeker of truth by the page. But all of his knowledge can never explain the deep mystery of the wood thrush refrain. Now the wood thrush has vanished, seeking the place that's not felt the crush of man's embrace. The steep woods are gone now, and oh, how I long to again feel the spell of the wood thrush's song. Quick other plug, I have a tip jar. If you know it already, you know it and would very much appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed, or if you know of people who you think should subscribe, send them my way. I know a bunch of people are already on my Patreon. That is how I'm going to be announcing my shows. And then October 10th, I'm singing and teaching a workshop on songs that sound traditional but are not in fact traditional at the El Cerrito Free Folk Festival. So let me know